umpires for today's game. Behind the plate, the crew chief. Number 32, Dana DeMute.
Cleveland Indians at 7-9. They've lost 3 of their last 4. 2 of those games they've been shut out. As Drupal Cabrera leads off at shortstop, batting second. Back in the big leagues, Mark Grudzelanek, the second baseman. Sin-Shu Chu in right will bat third. Austin Kearns will get the start today in center field and bat fourth. Hitting fifth is the DH Travis Hafner. Johnny Peralta at third base batting sixth. Andy Marte, who pinch hit in last night's game, will start this afternoon, play first base and bat seventh. Matt Laporta in left field hits eighth. And Mike Redmond, the veteran catcher and the personal catcher for Fausto Carmona, is behind the plate. 26-year-old right-hander Fausto Carmona, 2-0 at 3.60 earned run average on the mound today for Cleveland. He was 5-12 a year ago, but 19-game winner back in 2007. Cabrera at short, Grudzelanek at second, Chu in right, Kearns in center, Hafner the DH, Peralta at third, Marte at first, Laporta in left, Redmond the catcher. For the homestanding Athletics at 11-7, leading the West by a game and a half. Rajai Davis leads off in center. Derek Barton will bat second and play first base. Ryan Sweeney is in right, hitting third. Eric Chavez up to the DH, up to the fourth spot at DH. And for the A's, Gabe Gross hitting fifth, playing left field. Jake Fox, a late insertion in the lineup with a scratch of Kurt Suzuki, will catch and bat sixth. In the seventh spot at third base is Adam Rosales. Eric Patterson makes his fourth start. He's at second base, and hitting ninth for the A's is Cliff Pennington. The 22-year-old from Stillwater, Oklahoma, Brett Anderson, 1-1, a 265 earner on average going for the A's. Lost his last outing on Sunday, 8-3 against the Baltimore Orioles. Davis in center, Barton at first, and Sweeney in right. Chavez, the DH, Gross in left, and Fox behind the plate. Rosales at third, Patterson at second, and Pennington the shortstop. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics for the private and non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction or retransmission of the descriptions and accounts of this game in any form without the express written consent of the Oakland Athletics is strictly prohibited. Last September, Brett Anderson struck out 10 against Cleveland in his only appearance. It was a 2-1 win. We're ready for some Saturday afternoon baseball. Once again, here's Ken.
Here's Drupal Cabrera leading off for the Indians. Anderson delivers the pitch taken for a strike in the outside corner, 0-1.
First pitch.
60 degrees at first pitch. Blue skies above the ballpark. And here's the delivery on the way to Cabrera. Swung on a drive into right center field. Long run for Sweeney. He gets there. It's a line catch. So Ryan Sweeney, the A's right fielder, breaking well on the ball, angling toward right center, makes the catch, and that's the way our ball game begins on this Saturday afternoon.
Number 12.
Hello, Ray Fosse.
How are you?
Little radio for you today.
That's radio.
It's nice to have you over here.
Two of the greatest radio broadcasters in the history of baseball. Right here.
I don't see Vince Scully anywhere. So here's Grudzelanek, who's batting 2-11. And the pitch by Anderson is taken outside in the count 1-0. Derek Barton's at first for the A's. Eric Patterson's at second. The shortstop, Cliff Pennington. Adam Rosales over third today. Jake Fox behind the plate. Fastball taken outside in the count 2-0. The outfield for the A's is Gabe Gross in left. In center field, Rajai Davis. The right fielder is Ryan Sweeney. Just getting started. Grudzelanek trying to make a comeback this year. Takes a strike on the inside corner. And the count 2-1 to the veteran. He didn't play in the big leagues last year. Right-handed hitter. Anderson throws. Here it is. Swung on past to short. Backhand to the right. Taken by Pennington. He guns it across in time for the out. And quickly 2 away. And that'll bring up Shin-Soo Choo.
By the way, did Doug Eddings let everybody know he's here today at third base?
I think in the third position.
Not
right
yet.
Fielder.
Okay.
The feeling was that his strike zone was somewhat tight last night.
Yes, to say the least.
Here's Chu, who's batting at 286. The Indians are 7-9. The A's are 11-7. Outside for a ball in the count 1-0. Anderson faced the Orioles right here on Sunday. The A's lefty at the age of 22 delivers. The fastball bounced to the right side. Taken at second by Patterson. Throw to first in time. And Anderson breezes through a 1-2-3 top of the first with the A's coming up in the bottom half.
base for the Athletics, number 38, Todd Steverson. And to third base, number 12, Mike Gallego. Leading off for the Athletics.
He's come up in the bottom of the first against the big right-hander Fausto Carmona. The Indians went down 1-2-3 in the top half. And Davis, Barton, and Sweeney for the A's. Carmona from the Dominican Republic, 6'4" and 230. Davis hitting at 213 with a home run and 8 runs batted in. Cleared the bases with an 8th inning double down the left field line last night. Carmona making his 4th start. He's 2-0, and the windup by the right-hander. The pitch taken for a strike on the inside corner. Defensively for the Tribe today, Andy Marte is at first. At second is Mark Grudzelanek. As Drupal Cabrera, the shortstop. Johnny Peralta is over at third. The veteran Mike Redmond behind the plate. The 0-1 pitch is bounced to third. Right there to Peralta, and he throws him out. So Davis is out 5-3, and that'll bring up Derek Barton. The outfield of Matt Laporta in left. Grady Sizemore in center. Shin-Soo Choo in right field. Carmona, just a miserable year a year ago. He was 5-12 with a 6.32 ERA. In fact, things got so bad for Carmona, they were looking for, I guess, maybe the Roy Halladay route back to the big leagues. Remember several years ago when Halladay was struggling for Toronto, the Blue Jays sent Halladay all the way down to single A ball. Here's the pitch taken for a strike in the outside corner by Derek Barton. No balls and 1 strike, and the Indians tried that last year with Fausto Carmona.
Well, the outcome for Halladay, surprised every club doesn't do it, considering the way he's pitching now.
So Barton, the left-handed hitter. Carmona throws his dribble foul off his foot, and the count, no balls and 2 strikes. 1 out, bottom of the first, no score. Well, he was actually optioned out, and here's a guy who won 19 games back in 2007. He was actually optioned down to the Arizona Rookie League on the 5th of June last year. And he wound up trying to work his way back to the big leagues, pitching and working with some of the minor league instructors for the Indians at their complex in Arizona in Goodyear outside of Phoenix. Outside for a ball, and the count 1-2 to Barton.
If you go to Arizona in June and you don't work hard to leave, there's something wrong considering the temperature.
No kidding. First base side of the rubber. Redmond sets up outside, and Barton swings and fouls it back, and the count holds at 1-2. He wound up going to A ball on the 25th of June and resurfaced in the big leagues on July 31st of last year. But the numbers for the year, he was 5-12 with a 6.32 ERA. And he walked 70 batters in 125 innings a year ago. Carmona is 1-2 to Barton. A check swing. Did he go? They appeal to third, and no on the appeal to Doug Eddings.
Who? Oh, Doug Eddings. That's right.
So you enjoyed his work behind the plate last night, I can tell.
So bad that Justin Duxer had to apologize to him after the first inning so he wouldn't bring him up more.
Outfield toward left. Carmona throws, and it's taken low and outside. Now the count 3-2.
What do you do as a player, though, Ray, when midway through the game he said to one of the A's, "I'm having a bad night, I'm sorry"?
Well, he'd say, go apologize to Duxer and, you know, reverse it a little bit.
Carmona ready up on top of the hill. The windup, and here's a 3-2 to Barton. Taken on the inside corner, ring him up. Strike 3 called. So Barton is caught looking, and that'll bring up Ryan Sweeney. The umpires today, by the way, are Dana DeMuth behind the plate. At first is Kerwin Danley. At second is C.B. Butner. And the umpire at third, Ray, is Doug Eddings. So that'll bring up Sweeney, who's batting at .313. Really off to a solid start. Has 11 runs batted in. Carmona with a pitch in for a strike. This guy has a big-time fastball, a great arm. When he's on his game, an excellent sinker. Left-handed hitter. Here's the pitch, the 0-1 by Carmona, taken outside, and the count 1-1. They appeal to third and no swing. But he was 4th in the American League Cy Young balloting in 07. His teammate, C.C. Sabathia, won it that year.
He should have gone to the World Series that year.
Came awfully close, didn't it? Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing on line down the left field line. Slicing a foul ball toward the A's bullpen. Even for you, Ray, and your ties to the Indians and the time you spent with that ball club, I mean, you bring up the year 1948. I mean, that's a sore subject, isn't it?
Well, it is, because you look at 97, 07, 2 years, they could have very easily won the World Series, and nobody would be talking about 1948. Now they're the Cubs, Giants, and
Cubs, Indians, Giants in that order. The longest droughts. 2-2 to Sweeney. Eric Chavez on deck for the A's. A's the home whites, the Indians the road grays. What a perfect day out here. And now Carmona, the windup, and the 2-2 delivery to Ryan is swung on and foul back, and the count holds. The Mariners are a game and a half behind the A's in the West on this 24th of April. The A's 11-7, Seattle 9-8. The Angels at 9-9, they're 2 games back. The Rangers at 7-9, and they're back by 3. 17 days in first place for the green and gold. Here's the 2-2 delivery, and Sweeney at chopper. Going to be a tough play waiting for the hop as Carmona. Quick throw to first in time for the out. So Sweeney is out 1-3. The A's go down 1-2-3, and after 1, no score. And the Indians come up in the top of the second against Brett Anderson, and the A's lefty throws, and Austin Kearns, it's a line drive base hit to left field. So Austin Kearns in his first year in the American League lines a base hit to left. That'll bring up Travis Hafner, the longtime National Leaguer. Kearns, originally drafted by the Reds, #1 back in '98.
Batting in the fifth
First
position.
pitch base hit to left, and Hafner is coming up, and the big guy's batting at .231. 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. Anderson certainly struggled by his own admission in his last start against the Orioles on Sunday. 5 innings, 8 hits, and 6 runs. And he said he really said, Ray, that he just didn't have his slider. Here's the pitch. Instead of throw to first, not in time.
Yeah, he works very quickly, but it seemed in that game he couldn't work quickly enough. I mean, he just kept almost trying to speed up everything instead of just backing off a little bit, slowing it down.
Here's the pitch to Hafner, and it's taken for a strike on the outside corner. Leadoff single by Kearns. Top of the second, no score. If you're catching and you've got a pitcher, and Anderson's slider is such an important pitch for him, and he doesn't have a feel for it early in the game, do you keep calling it, Ray?
Yeah, you have to.
Now Hafner, it takes pitch down and in. A fastball on the count, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I've always thought, I mean, if you want to use all the pitcher's pitches, I mean, you wait for a count, and it's not going to hurt you. He doesn't have to throw a strike, but at least gets the field and try to get it back for later. Lefty
against lefty matchup. Off speed, taken high and inside, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike.
That happened across the bay last night with Tim Lincecum with his curveball. I mean, the curveball was very inconsistent, but they couldn't completely abandon it and eventually went back to it.
Third base side of the rubber. Leading at first is Kearns. Anderson delivers a check swing. Did he go? They appeal to third, no, and the count 3-1. Of course, Brett's last start was his first start after the announcement of his contract extension, signed by the A's through 2013 with the club options for 14 and 15. Outfield, a gap in right center. Kearns leads at first. Brett delivers, and it's swung on far ball to left center, playable for Rajay Davis. He's right there to make the catch. Hafner flies to left center. Kearns back to first, and Johnny Peralta's coming up. And his struggles really mirror those of the Indians. Johnny Peralta's batting at 156. And the Tribe entering play today, their team batting average was 220.
Well, so many opportunities last night, but thankfully the A's got so many double plays.
They got 5, and they got 1 in each of the first 4 innings. There's a strike on the inside corner to Johnny Peralta. As we said on the broadcast, Ray, I thought the game turned around with the pickoff in the top of the 6th inning of Sin-Shu Chu. Now the pitch, and that's taken low and in. 1 ball, 1 strike to Peralta.
Justin Duxer does not hold anything back when he's trying to pick off or at least keep a runner close to first base. Everything is quick footwork and a very hard throw to first. Great tag by Derek Clark as well.
Outfield straight up. Peralta's a right-handed hitter. Takes a strike in the inside corner. And really talking about Anderson's slider, that's his strikeout pitch to the right-handed hitters. He can really bury it down and in. Andy Marte is on deck. And a throw to first, not in time. Johnny Peralta from the Dominican Republic. He's 27 now. Hit 254 a year ago, but just 11 home runs. Runner goes, a big jump. It's swung on a miss. Throw to second by Fox. And the tag of the ball gets away from Patterson. And stealing second base is Austin Kearns on strike 3 to Peralta.
But Jake Fox had a great opportunity to get a double play because the swing by Peralta took him across home plate. And as Jake threw to second base, all he had to do was follow through and make contact, and it would have been interference on the batter, and it would have been a double play.
Jason Kendall was an expert at that, wasn't he?
Stays would be in the dugout right now.
That's right.
Ron Hassey was excellent as well.
He actually made a pretty good throw down to second. Kearns got a good jump.
Yeah, he had no chance, but that's a time where you just see the batter and know where home plate is and just follow through.
So here's Andy Marte, who's batting at 231. No score, 2 out, top of the 2nd at the Coliseum. Anderson throws and a fastball low and outside, 1-0. Andy Marte, a home run and 4 runs batted in. Right-handed hitter, deep in the box, a slightly open stance. Slight gap in left center, and Marte takes low, and it's 2-0. This guy coming up in the Atlanta organization at one time was one of the biggest prospects in baseball. Then he moved on to the Red Sox system and then was dealt to the Indians in the deal that sent Coco Crisp from Cleveland to Boston. Andy Marte. Anderson's pitch to him is high, and now the count 3-0. Matt Laporta is on deck for the Tribe. Here's the delivery on the way, and it's taken for a strike. Manny Acta in his first year as the Indians skipper. Sandy Albarn Jr. coaching at first. Steve Smith over at third. Leading at second, that's Austin Kearns. Here's the pitch to Marte, and that's in for a strike. To Andy Marte, and the count 3-2.
Sandy Albarn looks great. He's lost a lot of weight. Of course, the bad knees he had throughout his career is amazing. He was able to catch as much as he did in a great career because of bad knees.
Now the 3-2 on the way. Inside, barely missed. Close pitch. Marte walks, and the Indians with 2 out in the second have runners at first and second. Well, Sandy, like you said, had a great career, and I think without all the knee injuries, he would have had a chance for a Hall of Fame career. But he was a gifted kid coming up in the Padres organization, about 6'5" and 220. Was quick behind the plate, had a great arm, he could hit.
Yeah, the size, and of course you talk about a catcher, and his brother Robbie, who's much shorter, you'd think that he would be the catcher, but Sandy just tremendously quick footwork.
Here's Laporta, right-handed hitter, taking a strike on the inside corner. The former Brewers prospect acquired by the Indians in the Sabathia deal. Try batting in the second. There is no score. Kearns at second. Marte at first. Anderson out of the stretch. Kicks and throws. It swung on and foul back. Out of play, a fastball 92.
How much do you think those knee savers that he was one of the early users of or inventors of helped him?
You know what he said, though? He had a chance to run the minor leagues. He did, but he didn't want to run the big leagues because he didn't think it would be cool, or at least acceptable.
Now the delivery, and it swung on foul back out of play. He had, what, like 9 knee surgeries, didn't he?
Kept getting injections just so he could continue to catch, but you know, if he had used the knee savers when he first came up, who knows? Might have helped him a lot.
2 out, 2 on, top of the second, no score. And the pitch to Laporta is swung on and foul back. Well, Sandy, when he was coming up in the Padres organization, they had Benito Santiago. And so Sandy was actually the MVP of the AAA Coast League back in 1988 and had to go back to AAA in '89 because the Padres didn't want him in the big leagues as a backup, as just a kid. Now the pitch, check swing, did he go? They appeal, yes, they win on a fastball up and away out of the zone. A fastball at 94, and Laporta strikes out on the appeal to Kerwin Danley. So the Indians lead 2 and fail to score after 1.
In the 4th position, designated hitter, number 3, Eric Chavez.
Eric Chavez leads off for the A's. Bottom of the second, there's no score. Chavez, Gross, and Fox against Fausto Carmona. Chavi batting at .229 with 3 runs batted in. A left-handed hitter, as most of you know. Just a light breeze blowing and not a cloud in the sky. Chavez pops it foul out of play. A's nothing, Indians nothing. Let's go through the events of the day, Ray, with the A's injuries. Now, obviously, Mark Ellis and Travis Buck are on the DL. But Bob Guerin had both Kevin Kuzminoff and Kurt Suzuki in the original starting lineup today. Chavez fouls it back out of play in the count 0-2.
But I thought Kuzma was surprised he was able to stay in the game after his first at-bat last night when he fouled the ball off his foot. Barely made it to first base, but ended up having an excellent game, but he just could not make it today.
Left foot and his right calf is tight as well. Now the pitch to Chavez, taken outside, a fastball, and it's 1-2. And Suzuki, and the word came down just before the start of the game today that he was scratched with a sore left side. And he's been red hot. The 1-2 by Carmona, off speed outside, and it's 2-2. Changeup from Fausto Carmona. 26-year-old from the Dominican. That Cy Young balloting back in '07. CC was number 1, Josh Beckett number 2, John Lackey number 3, and Carmona number 4. And the pitch to Chavez is popped up short center field. Grady Sizemore under it now, drifting back to medium center, and he makes the catch. Chavez flies out. That'll bring up the veteran Gabe Gross, the left-handed hitter. Kearns in center. Yeah, I wrote Sizemore down. Thank you, Vinny. Sizemore not even playing today. Kearns made the catch in center field. And here's Gabe Gross, who's batting at 273. A's and Indians no score, bottom of the second. Carmona into the windup. And the pitch is swung on and hits a right field and hit deep. Chu is going back, but it's playable. About 2 steps from the track, and he's there to make the catch. 2 away. Gross flies out, and that'll bring up Jake Fox.
Yeah, think about Lee, Cy Young Awards, Sabathia, they both traded, and so if the Indians had an extra couple $100 million laying around, they could have signed both of them. Got a pretty good rotation.
Well, they spent all that money on you back in the 70s.
Hardly.
What was the major league minimum when you were a rookie in the big leagues?
10,000.
Did they have a minimum?
Oh yeah, I came up in 1967 for the last month, and it was a 7,000 minimum.
So Jake Fox takes a strike on the inside corner, 0-1.
So nowadays, when players come up in September, they get about $60,000. I got 600. Big difference.
Now the pitch to Fox is taken outside, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yes, there's 29 cents a gallon too.
But who's counting?
Me.
Now 1 month right now would be about 65,000.
Yeah.
Right? Here's the pitch to Fox, taken outside, 2 balls and 1 strike to Jake. He's a right-handed hitter, has 1 home run. It came in Seattle. The former Cub, close to the plate, a slightly open stance. Outfield, hitting room in right center. The windup by Carmona. The pitch to Fox inside, and the count 3-1 to Jake. Adam Rosales on deck for the A's.
I think as the season has started, Jake Fox has become more of a patient hitter. He's had some deep counts. He's not swinging at every pitch that comes to him, especially the first offering.
Well, a big base hit as a pinch hitter the other night to right center field against Java. The 3-1 by Carmona is swung on and bounced down to short, taken there by Cabrera. He fields and throws, and that's out number 3. And the A's go down 1-2-3 and 6 straight to begin the game for Fausto Carmona. After 2, no score.
Hi fans, and welcome to Teacher Appreciation Day.
All right, thank you, Vinny.
No problem, buddy.
I told you I was going to.
The 3rd inning for Cleveland, and batting in the 9th position, the catcher, number 52, Mike Redmond.
After 2 innings for the Indians, no runs, a hit, no errors. The A's, no runs, no hits, no errors. 3rd inning, here's Vince.
Veteran backup Mike Redmond starts things off for Cleveland. Their 9 batter. And back to the top with Asdrubal Cabrera and Mark Grudzielanek. Redmond is the personal catcher for Fausto Carmona. Veteran receiver was the primary catcher for the Twins during the first month of last season with Joe Mauer on the disabled list. The right-hand batter takes high for ball 1. Last year, Mike in 45 games hit .237, 7 RBIs. Has the hands low. The pitch is swung on line towards second and caught at the top of the lead by Eric Patterson. Right at the edge of the mitt. He holds on, and Redmond is retired for the first out.
You know, Redmond's an excellent backup catcher, personal catcher for Carmona. He's really going to help him tremendously. He knows how to call a game, handle a pitching staff. The only difference when he subbed for Joe Mauer, he always hit third. They never moved him down. They left him in that same spot.
Well, left with Joe's spot.
Yeah, right. But he always did well. I mean, he hit very well for the Twins.
Now Cabrera bats, takes a curve down and in, ball 1. And he's one of those rare guys where he doesn't play a whole lot. He's mentioned as a backup catcher, but he has a lot of respect in the clubhouse. 1-0 pitch is down low, 2 balls and no strikes. Not an easy thing to attain, but part of the reason why he's with Cleveland in 2010. Cabrera, fly ball to right, began the game. He swings and sends it out of play in that direction, back toward the seats. And it's 2 balls and a strike facing Brett Anderson in the scoreless game. This year, the Twins decided to go with young Drew Butera as a backup to Joe Mauer in Minnesota. 2-1 pitch, bunted up the third baseline. It will end up in foul territory as Cabrera tried to get something going. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Drew, the son of one of our favorite scouts around Major League Baseball, one of the special assistants for the Toronto Blue Jays, and a longtime catcher in his own right in the big leagues, Sal Butera.
So that means young Butera will get about 26 starts once a week.
Yeah.
That's about it. If he's lucky.
If he's lucky.
If they get down to the stretch drive, he won't get in.
2-2 on the way. Swung on, hit on the ground to Pennington. A couple of steps to his left. He gobbles it up. Little high throw by to Barton. He pulls it down. Tags Cabrera going by, and that's the second out. And that'll bring Mark Grudzielanek to the plate.
Number 12, Mark Grudzielanek.
Grudzielanek, a professional hitter. He's hit better than 300 on 5 different occasions. He's bounced around. Primarily a National League player early in his career. Montreal, the Dodgers, the Cubs, the Cardinals, and then the Royals. And now he adds Cleveland to the list as he takes the first pitch curve. It's over for strike 1. They shade him the other way toward right center. 2 outs, nobody on in a scoreless game in the top of the third. The breaking ball is to the outside edge. Grudzielanek behind 0-2. He tried to make a bit of a comeback last year. He said he had a couple of offers that he was not happy with going into spring training of last season. Decided to stay home. 0-2 pitch. Back foot slider is inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Then the Twins came calling. He went to their minor league system and just felt like at that late stage, as well after the All-Star break, that was just going to take too much time for him to try to get back and get ready to help out. 1-2 pitch outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Shin-Soo Choo waiting on deck for the try.
In the past, when that happened, Benny's pretty much your career is over. Now, guys, lay out a year, come back, continue.
2-2 pitch, grounded foul at the plate. Yeah, look at Chris Benson. He's been struggling. He comes back and he's pitching in the rotation for the Diamondbacks. And Pedro Martinez pitched the second half last year for the Phillies. There are other players that are doing that same thing. He took the entire season off. Now playing for Milwaukee. The left-hander winds. Another 2-2 on the way. Swing and a miss. Down goes Grudzielanek. Throws the bat in the helmet. The inning is over. They go 1-2-3. 3 Ks through 3 innings for Anderson on to the bottom of the third. No score.
In the bottom of the third inning, batting in the 7th position. Third baseman, number 7, Adam Rosales.
Adam Rosales will start things off for the Athletics. Bottom of the third of a scoreless game. A's are looking for their first base runner against the power sinker of the right-hander Fausto Carmona. Tries a slider to Rosales and misses outside for ball 1. Adam batting .243, a home run and 7 driven in. His first month in the American League. 3 for his last 22 at the plate. 1-0 pitch. Swung on, lifted toward left center field. A base hit lands in front of Laporte. He plays it off his chest. And the A's have their first base runner. The high energy of Adam Rosales is aboard to first base for the A's.
And Laporte very happy that ball hit off his chest because he charged a non-catchable ball. Ball was sinking too quickly. And you don't like to see an outfielder try to make a spectacular play on a ball that's not 100% and open up an inning and put the runner in scoring position.
Boy, that goes over his left shoulder, the way Adam Rosales likes to run. We might have had some interesting things happening. Here's Eric Patterson. He's 1 for 10. Part-time duty off the bench for the A's. Goes after the first pitch. Fouls it to the left for strike 1. Make his 4th start for the A's. This is an important weekend for us on the A's radio network, our lifeblood. Many members of our radio network are here this weekend. Robert Guan, Ken Priest, and Warren Chu all hosting our folks that make it happen for us on a daily basis. 1 strike pitch outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Many thanks to the folks in Auburn on KAHI 950 AM. In Mount Shasta at KCWH 102.3 FM. In Modesto at KESP 970 AM. All of them and others are here this weekend enjoying the A's and enjoyed the 10-0 victory last night. They're turning a throwback to first to keep Rosales close. KNRO 1670 AM in Reading. KRKC 1490 AM in King City. Our friends in Sacramento on KTKZ 1380 AM. And our friends from Lakeport at KXBX 1270 AM. Thanks for being a part of the A's radio network. A slow roller gets through the right side. A base hit for Patterson. Rosales races around second on his way to third. A head for a slide. The throw by Chu cut off by Cabrera. And the A's bottom of the order in business. Runners at first and third with nobody out for Cliff Bennington.
Great hitters take advantage of that hole when the runner being held at first base and opening between first and second. That ball just shot through the opening in the right field.
Eric Patterson taking advantage of it as well. It was a bad pitch, not a strike, but able to turn on it, trying to roll over on it. Found the right spot. Hey, he's looking for anything he can get at this point. When you're a part-time player, you'll take a broken bat hit or a slow roller or a little flare behind third base. And now here's Pennington, a .214 hitter, 2 homers and 10 RBIs. Remember, Patterson has good speed. He's at first base. The high set, the leg kicking the pitch. Swung on, lifted to shallow center field. A late start for Carrera. It's going to drop. It's over Cabrera's head. Racing third. From third, coming home is Rosales. And the A's have a 1-0 lead. Back-to-back hits by hitters 7, 8, and 9 in the A's lineup. They've got a 1-0 advantage on Fausto Carmona.
And all it takes is for an outfielder to break late on a hitter with a big swing, and that's basically what happened. So the no man's land base hit for Cliff Pennington.
Patterson moves up to second base, so the A's in the span of just a handful of pitches in the inning, 6 pitches, have gotten 3 hits and a run and lead it 1-0 after Carmona was 6 up and 6 down to start the game. Now Rajai Davis stands in, looking for the bunt at first and third. He bounced out to third base his first time up. He's showing bunt and pushes it foul up the first base side for strike 1. Well, this is what the A's have got to do on a consistent basis. They try to find an offensive identity with their ball club. And doing so minus key players. You know, Mark Ellis is down. Kurt Suzuki not starting today's game. Kevin Kuzminoff not starting today's game as well.
And if this is a sacrifice, you do exactly that. Rajai trying to push the ball. Normally you see a first and second situation, the hitter will try to bunt to third. Rajai was going to first.
Here's the 0-1. He bunts and he fouls it right at the plate in the batter's box. And now he's in a hole 0-2.
Now in more of a drag bunt instead of a sacrifice. And of course, bunting to third base by a right-handed hitter is difficult, trying to get the bat angle, but Now, and some guys will, as far as they just try to drag the ball because they feel more comfortable that way. But now quickly it's 0-2.
The A's got a break in a situation like that against Seattle with Jose Lopez, not really a third baseman, at least not yet. That situation was new to him. He did not go back to cover on a play. 0-2 slider hit toward right field. A play for Chu coming in a few steps, and he'll make the catch, and that's the first out of the inning. Now Derek Barton will stand in. Went down looking on strikes back in the first.
Number 10, Derek
Carmona, as he works in today's game, his last outing, 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs against the White Sox. Walked 2, struck out 4, led that game 7-0, and eventually won it 7-4. His 3 starts have come 2 against the White Sox, a team that is absolutely just struggling offensively, and a Texas team that he went 8 innings against and allowed only 2 runs. Pennington and Patterson, first and second. The pitch to the left-hand swinging Barton, swung on and fouled at the plate for strike 1. Talking with Derek after the game last night, very confident about the way this season has begun for him. Typically in the past, when we've talked about Derek Barton's offensive success, it's usually been bunched only in the month of September. But as he said, he goes, I feel I'm back, having a better idea at the plate, seeing more pitches, much more patient. And in the case last night against Jake Westbrook, stepped out, and then the next pitch he drilled to right center field. Here's the 1-strike pitch. He fouls it back, and it's 0-2.
A lot to be said about working the count, getting the count in your favor to where a pitcher is forced to throw a strike. In the case last night, Westbrook just like he tired a little bit, started elevating some of his fastballs.
Boy, it happened in a hurry, too. You got to remind yourself that Derek Barton is only 24 years of age. He does lead the league in walks with 19. Down in the count, 0-2 to Carmona. Works from the first base side of the hill. Comes set above the letters and fires. And the sinker is spoiled and just nicked out of play to the left by Barton as he hangs in to see another pitch against Carmona. Carmona, that 19-win season of 07 was magical. In fact, as they went to the playoffs in the division series, he went 9 innings against the Yankees. Didn't win that game. They won it in 11, 2-1 on a Travis Hafner base hit. And then pitched twice in the ALCS against the Red Sox, and that's when things began to unravel for Carmona. Instead of the pitch, he swings and misses, does Barton down and in. He thought the ball was in the dirt. Dana DeMuth says no. Says he foul tipped it in the dirt. And DeMuth will not listen to the argument. And that's strike 3 on Barton. Both Ks today for Carmona have come against Barton.
It looked like a pickoff play, and second might have been on because Cabrera was in at second base. The entire left side of the infield was open, and that in itself might have distracted Derek because you see the guy move that quickly. A lot of times the pitcher will step off, yet Carmona obviously didn't see Cabrera at second base and continued the pitch.
The ball did squirt out of Redmond's glove, but Derek did not make contact with the pitch, so strike 3, and there are 2 outs now. The A's have 1 run. They're looking for more as Ryan Sweeney stands in. He tapped one back to the mound back in the first inning. Carmona in the division series, rather the LCS against the Red Sox, faced Curt Schilling twice, 4 innings in game 2, lost that game. For him, they won it, going away late 13-6, but he was not a factor. First pitch, a sinker down low, ball 1. Then in game 6, also against Schilling, he was knocked around quite a bit, lost that game 12-2. J.D. Drew had a first inning grand slam. And that was a series that they led against the Red Sox 3-1, and were on the verge of getting back to the World Series. The set, the pitch, down and in, 2 balls and no strikes.
Something that applied in that series, which is no longer, and that is the off day between games 4 and 5, and then another between 5 and 6. And that probably the momentum, everything just kind of shifted to the Red Sox, plus Josh Beckett, there's no doubt, but that is no longer taking place. That off day will not be a factor in this postseason.
2-0 to Sweeney. They give him a lot of room in right center. Left-hand batter standing in, and the pitch, it's over below, 3 balls and no strikes. As those who followed the Indians talk about that series and that particular first off day, all of a sudden they had a chance to kind of take pause and say, whoa, wait a minute, we might be going to the World Series. And it kind of unraveled for them from that point forward.
Well, they played so great in these first 4 games.
Peralta well off the line at third base behind the bag. Marte deep at first off the line. The pitch, it's in there for a strike, taking all the way. Sweeney on 3-0. It's now 3 balls and a strike. We'll wrap up the longest homestand of the year tomorrow with Gio Gonzalez back on the mound for the A's against Justin Masterson. That's a 105 first pitch. 3-1 the count to Sweeney. Carmona stretches and fires, and the pitch is pulled on the ground right to the second baseman. Drops it, picks it up, throws to first in time, and the inning is over. 1 run, 3 hits. The A's lead 2. They were looking for much more than that. On to the 4th inning, and it is 1-0 Oakland. One nothing A's. We start the 4th inning, and a slider to Shin-Soo Choo is over for strike 1 from Brett Anderson. It'll be Choo, Austin Kearns, and Travis Hafner against the A's 22-year-old left-hander. The 1 pitch over the inside corner. Choo shoots a loop back to the plate umpire. Dana DeMuth didn't like the call, and now DeMuth is going to step a little closer to Choo and listen to a word or two. Manny Ackie was almost on his way to protect this player. Now we're back to baseball. It's 0-2 to Choo. The pitch, fastball high, 1-2. He is the A-Rod of South Korea. I mean, this guy, he's got a chance to really be a special player. Lefty on lefty, the glove in front of the chest for Anderson, and his 1-2 delivery is too tight. Under the hands of Choo, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Although the A's scored the run last night with Barton coming home on the base hit by Sweeney, it was a heck of a throw home by Choo. Breaking ball, swung on and missed, got him on the slider. 4 Ks now for Anderson, and here comes Austin Kearns.
Now batting.
Better command of that breaking ball so far today for Brett Anderson, looking for his 2nd win of the season. Austin Kearns, a former #1 pick of the Cincinnati Reds out of high school back in 1998. He's from Kentucky, so you know he grew up a Reds fan. Had some injuries the past couple of seasons. First delivery, a changeup, and it's over for strike 1. Had a problem with the right thumb last year. Hit just a $195 for the Nationals. Had surgery on his right elbow in 2008. Hit just $217 that year. A 1 curve. Had a play off to the right. He singled leading off the 2nd inning. The only hit to this point that Anderson has allowed.
So Kearns went to Goodyear, so he could be close to Cincinnati and Cleveland.
That's right.
Complex for both in spring training.
Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fastball line back up the middle. Here comes Davis, and he'll win it. And hold on. Fine catch by Rajay Davis on the sinking line drive off the bat of Austin Kearns for out number 2.
Well, Kearns is swinging the bat. That's an 0-2 pitch. You figure
number 48
might not make that kind of a swing or hit the ball as hard as he did, but that was a sinking line drive. And Rajay just likes this soft turf with clay wood here at the Coliseum.
He could have stayed on his feet, I think. He caught that ball about ankle high. Well, why not? Have some fun with it. Here's Hafner. Fly ball to center his first time up. Open stance from the left side, and the pitch. The curve outside for ball one. Rajay last night made a great catch on Grady Sizemore's drive in the ninth inning. With Brad Kilby pitching. 1-0 offer. It's low. 2 balls and no strikes. The A's following this series conclusion tomorrow will get on the charter on Monday morning and head east, young man, to Tampa Bay to take on the Rays for 2 games. And next weekend against the Blue Jays. A swing and a fly ball to right center field. Moving over, Sweeney still going toward the track, near the athletic sign, on the warning track, and the 388 sign is where he hauls it in. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Anderson. He's retired 7 in a row. On to the bottom of the 4th. A's still in front, 1-0.
Designated hitter, number 3, Eric Chavez.
Save it. Save it. One nothing Oakland, bottom of the 4th inning. Eric Chavez stands in against Fausto Carmona and Gabe Gross and Jake Fox. Carmona turns the big righty's pitch. Swung on and fouled off to the left for strike 1. Take a look at the road report brought to you by Big O Tires. They've gone to the bottom of the 12th. The Dodgers and the Nationals are all knotted at 3 apiece. Casey Blake's had a couple of home runs in that game. The 0-1. Grounded foul right behind the plate. And it's 0-2 to Chavi. Hit a fly ball to center his first time up. The Mets, with 2 runs in the 7th inning, beat Atlanta. The final there was 3-1. Acosta the winner. Jurgens the loser. K-Rod gets the save. 8 wins in a row now for San Diego. They blanked Cincinnati 5-0 behind Matt LeBlanc. Pitch is grounded off the plate on the right side. Charging it from second and dropping the ball. He tries to roll the first, and it's in time. Marte pulls it in, and Chavez is out at first base. Goodness, what a play that was. It's a 4-4-4-3. As he kept on trying to roll it over to first base, Grzelcyk did. The way he put the ball last inning, and this one, he just kept rolling it over to first base. I don't know if Marte knew to stretch or not. Chavi hustling up the line and then right into the mid of Marte for the first out. Now Gabe Gross will bat. Fly ball to right his first time up. And Carmona's pitch off the plate outside, ball 1. So San Diego has won 8 games in a row. They're leading the West. They're now 11-6 on the year. Johnny Cueto takes the loss. Gonzalez and Venable with home runs. Off-speed delivery to Gross, misses. 2 balls and no strikes. American League, the Yankees have a 1-0 lead on the Angels in the 3rd. Andy Pettit against Joel Pinheiro. Seattle and the White Sox scoreless after 2.5. The pitch, fastball up and away. Behind Gross, 3 balls and no strikes. In store online, Big O Tires offers name brand tires every time. Low prices, service and straight talk. Big O Tires, the team you trust. See BigO.com or call 1-800-NEW-TIRE for prices and the Big O Tires store nearest to you. The pitch, outside corner, a strike, 3-1. Robert Juan, of course, we know. Matt LeBlanc was the actor from Friends, maybe related to Wade LeBlanc, who won the game today for Cincinnati, or for San Diego.
Robert's good about that.
The master of the changeup. 3-1 pitch, hit toward left center field. Coming in for it is Kearns, and he can't get it. Has been taken on the bounce. Lands softly for hits. Gabe Gross, a 1-out single. The A's 4th hit of the day. And now here comes Jake Fox.
You know, Roberts with country fastball, he knows all those high people.
The celebrities.
Yeah.
But he's very tuned into pop culture, Ray.
He's probably going to be backstage today for the Brooks and Dunn concert tonight. I mean, they're somewhere in the Bay Area.
Shoreline, he knows he'll be there.
Fox, a bouncing ball to short his first time up. It's 1-0 Oakland in the 4th. The stretch, the Carmona pitch, a slider hit towards center. A chance for Kearns, looking up into the bright sky. Drifting toward right center, makes the catch, and there are quickly 2 outs. After we built up Jake Fox about taking pitches and working counts. He had a 3-1 count his last time up. It was after the first pitch this time around. Now Adam Rosales, he has scored the game's lone run. Single to left and came home on a bloop single by Pennington in that same frame. Adam stands in on the right side. Pant legs pulled up as always. Front of his uniform already dirty. That's no surprise. Turning a throw back to first to keep Gross close. 1:05. First pitch tomorrow. Gio Gonzalez against Justin Masterson. The A's say goodbye to the Cleveland Indians at the Coliseum for the rest of 2010. Amazing. Setting the pitch. Fastball strike to the outside corner. A's were 5-2 against the Indians a year ago.
But, you know, it's because the Pirates will play as many games at the Coliseum as the Indians will this year, and that's the beauty of interleague play.
Well played. The entire left field corner is for Rosales. Here's the pitch. Fouls it behind the plate. It's 0-2.
Looking forward to that 2-game trip to St. Petersburg for the only 2 games the A's are going to play against Tampa Bay on the road this year.
We are in the Bill King broadcast booth. Infield back all the way around for Adam. Down on the count, 0-2. Carmona to the plate. Swing and a miss. Tied him up and the inning is over. No runs, a hit and a man left. On to the 5th inning. A's lead at 1-0.
Peralta.
Underway in the 5th inning, the first pitch to Johnny Peralta is bounced ashore. Taken there, and the throw across by Pennington in time for the out. So Peralta's out 6-3. First ball swinging. The A's on top of the Indians 1-0, and that'll bring up the first baseman Andy Marte.
Go to the top defense.
Here's Ken.
Thank you very much, Vince. Thank you very much, Rick.
You know,
Hello again, everybody.
No television today, so there's no stopwatch. Probably at second base with C.P. Buckner.
So here's Marte walking his first at bat. So that only applies when you guys are doing TV.
No, he's got the stopwatch. He's just starting a little too early.
We're thinking about an evening in the Bay Area and a rare day game.
That wouldn't be bad. Huh? Here's the pitch taken inside by Marte, a right-handed hitter. Marte spent most of last year in the minor leagues in AAA, and he batted .327 in 82 games in the minors. He takes inside for a ball. 18 home runs and 66 RBIs, but just .232 in 47 games for the Tribe. Here's the delivery on the way to Marte, taken high. So Marte batting, 1 out. Top of the 5th inning, the A's are on top by the count of 1-0. And now Anderson comes back and throws, taking all the way. Marte a strike, and it's 3-1. Anderson has 4 strikeouts so far. And the Indians have 1 hit. That was a leadoff single by Kearns in the 2nd. On the way, swung on dribble, foul, third base side. We're talking about reminiscing about Sandy Alomar and his playing career. Sandy back in uniform with the Indians, coaching first base. You know, Ray, the A's hitting coach Jim Scanlon was a longtime coach and manager in the Padres organization. The pitch is a fly ball to right, playable for Sweeney in a couple of steps, and he makes the catch for the 2nd out. 1985, Jim Scanlon is managing in low A ball at Charleston in the South Atlantic League. Charleston, South Carolina, in the Padres organization. He managed, and on that ball club, he had both Alomar brothers. He had Sandy behind the plate. He had Robbie on the infield. And one of Scanlon's coaches on that club was Sandy Alomar Sr. So he had all 3 of them. He had the whole clan. Here's the pitch to Matt Laporta, right-handed hitter, foul back, and the count 0-1 with the A's leading 1-0. And Robbie Alomar was literally, he was just a kid. He was 17 years of age on that club. Here's the delivery to Laporta, and Laporta goes around on a pitch that runs away, and the count 0-2.
But how great would it be to be 17 and know that your brother and father were both there?
Amazing. And Scanlon did say that was great, but that he felt that it put a little added pressure on Robbie.
Really hurt him over his career, didn't it?
No kidding. High for a ball, and the count 1-2. Narrowly missing the Hall of Fame this past year. What was he, 8 votes shy, Ray?
Well, 11-5, so let's hope both of them get in next year.
Now the pitch, and he ties him up inside, and down on strikes is Laporta. Anderson breezes through a 1-2-3 top of the 5th inning, and he's retired 10 straight. Halfway through our ball.
baseman, number 1, Eric Patterson.
Eric Patterson leads it off for the Athletics. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. The A's lead 1-0, facing the right-hander Fausto Carmona. Here's the pitch. The A's left-handed hitter is swung on, foul, back out of play. We'll pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Oakland A's radio network. And along with Vince Cotroneo and Ray Fosse, I'm Ken Korak. It's great to have you with us. A sun-splashed Saturday afternoon at the Coliseum. Just a perfect day. And Patterson takes a strike in the count 0-2. He's 1 for 1. He's a left-handed hitter. The brother of Corey. And the pitch to Eric is inside. Well, let's see, Ray. The A's on this road trip. They'll fly to St. Pete on Monday. They'll play 2 games against the Rays beginning Tuesday night. Then up to Canada in a 4-game series against the Blue Jays beginning Thursday night.
How many miles from here to St. Pete to Toronto to Oakland for 6 games?
Well, there is that note in the Angels game notes. Here's the delivery to Patterson, swung on, foul, back out of play, left side, that the Angels claim they are leading the league this year in most miles flown.
55,000?
Yeah.
And the White Sox, 22,000.
Well, isn't that amazing?
It's the Central.
Right.
But our best
so more than 30,000 miles the difference between the Angels and the White Sox.
Our best to Mickey Morbido. And Mickey, I think, is going to be on this next trip, which is very wise.
Recuperating. Patterson golfs it foul, left side out of play. The best in the business.
Yes, he is.
Maybe the best of all time. In the category of traveling secretary or director of team travel, Mickey Morbido.
Probably the longest tenure, Mickey and the Cleveland Indians, Mike Segui, who is here with the Tribe. Both been around a long time, both very, very good at what they do.
Mickey came out here with Billy Martin, swung on and foul back. And the count 1-2. And Segui, part of the long line of Seguis with the Indians organization.
He was a traveling secretary when I played there in the mid-70s.
He was? No kidding. How were those railroad cars back then, Ray?
No, we flew the Wright Airlines.
The pitch to Patterson outside for a ball on the count 2-2.
It was the Maybe Airlines. Maybe you'd make it, maybe you didn't. Fortunately, we did.
Now, isn't there a certain romance about thinking back to the days when the teams took the railroad cars? Yeah. Now the pitch to Patterson, hit down the left field side, foul out of play, and the count holds.
But there were no teams west of Mississippi, so
That's
everything was St. Louis, Chicago, east. Nothing down in the south. So, I mean, that'd be great, though.
Yeah, I mean, for years, that was the way that the teams traveled, by train. 2-2 on the way by Carmona. Patterson, it's a bouncy ball back at first, taken fair by Marte, and Marte goes to the bag. Patterson's out 3 unassisted, 1 away. 5th inning, 1-0 A's, and the A's big RBI man this year, Pennington, is coming up.
Now batting
Blue single to left center, driving in the game's only run, his 11th run batted in. So after the trip to Tampa and Toronto, the A's come back home, and they will begin a 6-game homestand against the Texas Rangers on May 3rd on a Monday night. 3 against Texas and 3 against Tampa Bay. So Pennington, a switch hitter, batting left. And the pitch is taken inside for a ball, 1-0, with the A's leading 1-0. Cliff batting 241. I love the phone call that Dallas Braden in disguise made while Pennington was on Chris Townsend's show, on the postgame show, after the ball game here on Thursday. And Braden was really giving Pennington a bad time because they were rivals in college. Because Dallas went to Texas Tech and Pennington went to Texas A&M, swung on, foul, back out of play. And apparently in a game, and Braden was a very good hitter apparently in college, besides being a great pitcher. In one game against Texas A&M while playing for Texas Tech, Braden was DHing, and he went 5 for 5 in that game. So typical pitcher, he likes to brag about his hitting. Swung on a fly ball in the left center field. Playable for Austin Kearns is right there. And the center fielder drifting toward left center to make the catch. Out number 2.
Well, interleague play he's just right around the corner. 9 games. San
Now batting,
Francisco and
center
Chicago
fielder,
and St.
number
Louis
11,
for the
Rajay Davis.
National League interleague games.
That'll be in mid-June. That stretch of 9 games begins across the bay against the Giants in San Francisco on Friday, June 11th. Then on to Chicago and St. Louis. Rajay Davis takes the ball 1-0. 1-0 in favor of the A's. The A's strung together 3 consecutive singles back in the bottom of the 3rd by Rosales, Patterson, and Pennington. Carmona, first base side of the rubber. Davis, a right-handed hitter. It's on the way. Taken inside. The A's had a chance for a bigger inning. They had 2 on, leading 1-0 with nobody out. Rajay was up there to bunt. He tried to bunt, failed in his first 2 attempts, and then flied out to right field for the first out. And then Barton struck out, and Sweeney bounced to second. Carmona, here's the pitch, and Davis takes low.
Giving credit to the A's, they have had bunting practice. Come out early and strictly just practice the bunting, and well, you have to do it. It just goes to show you that practice on the one, it is not always that easy to get a bunt down.
What you'd really like to see would be the bunting that they have in October in the ballpark.
That's a good one.
Here's the 3-0 in for a strike, and the count 3-1.
That is exactly right.
Outfield, a gap in right center. Carmona up on top of the hill into the windup, and the 3-1 delivery to Raj is a fly ball to center to Austin Kearns. He's right there in his tracks, and he makes the catch. 5 straight retired by Carmona, and after 5 it's still 1-0 A's.
Leading off the top of the 6th inning for Cleveland, number 52, Mike Redmond.
Top of the 6th inning, Mike Redmond leads it off for the Indians against Brett Anderson. A gem being thrown by the A's great 22-year-old southpaw. He's given up just 1 hit. The Indians have only 2 base runners. And the pitch by Anderson on the way is taken high in the count 1-0. Redmond is 0 for 1. He lined out. The Tribe went down 1-2-3 in the first inning. In the second, they got a leadoff single by Kearns, and then a 2-out walk to Marte inside for a ball, and then Laporta struck out. And Marte, actually the Indians' last base runner. 1, 2, 3, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Redmond, a right-handed hitter, and the pitch to Mike is taken high and outside. And now the count 3-0. Redmond is 38. He was born in Seattle. He went to college at Gonzaga. The pitch to Redmond is in for a strike. 98 through 04 with the Marlins, and 95 through 09 with the Twins. He's a good hitter, as you said, Ray. He's a good ball player. Backup catcher, 289 lifetime hitter. Swings, fouls it back out of play in the count 3-2.
A guy like that can stay in the big leagues a long time. He knows his role, accepts his role, and very good when he does play.
Knows a stroke. Everything almost always goes to right.
He's a clubhouse character as well. Swings and fouls it back. 3 balls and 2 strikes. As Drupal Cabrera is on deck, and then Grudz-Alanek. Yeah, the outfield toward right. Anderson throws, and a fastball line to right center. Rajay on his horse in the alley, diving, and he can't get it. It's off his glove. It's backed up by Sweeney, and Redmond goes to second base with a double. Great try by Rajay Davis. A full out dive in right center field. Got his glove on the ball. Alertly back behind him. Sweeney backed up the play and took the ball at the base of the warning track. And Mike Redmond leads off with a 2-base hit to right center.
Inside out swing. The ball was slicing too much. Rajay, great effort, but it just kept slicing.
So here's Cabrera, switch hitter batting right. The A's are thinking about a possible sacrifice. Barton in on the grass at first. Rosales same over at third. Grudz-Alanek is on deck, and Cabrera not going to bunt. Swings and fouls it back out of play. You could make a case at this point in the season anyway that Cabrera is the Indians' best all-around hitter. Hit .308 last year. That was 11th best in the American League. 42 doubles. That was 11th best. Fox hits up outside, the pitch low, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike. He came to the Indians from the Mariners on June 30th of 06 for Eduardo Perez. And the pitch, he's around a bunt, drops it toward third, a beauty, down to get it. Anderson turns and throws to first. Barton with a backhand play. The sacrifice works. Redmond goes to third. 1-3 on the sacrifice. That'll bring up Grudz-Alanek.
Of course, this is a time that Brett Anderson with a great strikeout pitch. The hard slider curveball to the back foot of the right-handers. Infield's probably going to play in, which they will with the runner at third, the tying run. So Brett, as we saw in Seattle, when he needed the strikeout, he went to the hard breaking pitch inside of the right-hander.
He has 5 Ks today. 1-0 A's. Runner at third. The infield is halfway. Redmond does not run well. That's why they're halfway. A dribbler back, and Anderson makes a backhand play and throws to first with the out. Redmond holding at third. Anderson not known for his fielding, bouncing off the mound. I thought it was going to go by him. It was in the grass toward the first base side of the mound. He sprawled over toward the first base side, backhanded the ball, throws to first for the out, for the second out, and Mike Redmond holding at third.
And I don't know that Eric Patterson had a chance to throw out Grudz-Alanek. What a play, because Anderson, as we all know, the left-hander falling off towards the third base side and diving back towards first base and making a great play with a check swing.
So here's Shin-Soo Choo, a left-handed hitter, and a breaking ball in for a strike, 0-1. Well, that's really the kind of play we haven't seen him make before out there. Third base side of the rubber, the delivery is on the way, and it's taken a fastball inside, and the count 1-1. But he's done so much work with Babaleo, Ray, on his conditioning and his agility. I think it's paying off.
He admits it.
Here's the 1-1 delivery. Swung on in line into left for a base hit. The Indians have tied it up. A solid base hit the other way by Choo. Scoring from third is Redmond, and we have a 1-1 tie.
But just looking at Brett as he was pitching to Choo, after making the play,
now batting, number 26.
He was breathing very hard,
Austin
and that's a time
Kearns.
when you just need to go out and just calm him down. Just still a chance to catch him up a bit, and he automatically got back up to the mound and trying to get a tough hitter out. Just couldn't do it.
So here's Austin Kearns, who's 1 for 2. Go to first, not in time. We were talking about Choo on the broadcast last night, Ray, and people kind of throw out that 5-tool tag. They throw it out loosely, but I think Choo is a legitimate 5-tool player. Go to first, not in time. He got picked off in the top of the 6th inning by Duchscher last night.
It's the A's. He's been a 5-tool.
Oh, yeah.
Series.
He made a great throw to the plate last night. Swung on, foul back out of play, and the count 0-1 to Austin Kearns. Out of Lexington, Kentucky, Austin Kearns, 29 years of age. He made his big league debut in 2002 with Cincinnati. Signed a minor league contract with the Indians in the offseason. And Anderson a move to first, not in time. Went on the DL in mid-August last year and then had right thumb surgery. With the Nationals last year, just 80 games. He's a right-handed hitter. Deep in the box, a slightly open stance. Chu leads at first. Anderson kicks and throws, and it's swung on and a pop-up on the infield. Patterson, the second baseman, in the dirt between first and second, makes the catch. But the Indians tie it up. And we go to the bottom of the sixth. It's the A's 1 and Cleveland 1.
Leading off the bottom of the sixth inning, first baseman, number 10, Larry What?
Derek Barton leads it off for the A's. We go to the bottom of the sixth. We're tied up at 1. Barton, Sweeney, and Chavez against Carmona. Barton's 0 for 2. A tough afternoon so far. 2 strikeouts. Carmona delivers and misses outside 1-0. Final game of the homestand tomorrow. The weather should be perfect. A 1:05 start. Gio Gonzalez for the A's against Justin Masterson. Carmona up on top of the hill at 6'4", 230. A big dude delivers in for a strike. And the count 1-1. Then Tuesday in St. Pete, Ben Sheets against Wade Davis. Wednesday night, Dallas Braden against James Shields. Here's the pitch to Barton, taken for a strike. At Tampa Bay has a very good ball club. They're 12-5. Lead the Yankees by a half game and lead Toronto by 2. In the Eastern Division, Tampa Bay is hosting Toronto later tonight. Now the delivery to Barton is swung on and bounced back at first, taking a fair ball, and Marte goes to the bag. Barton is out 3 unassisted. Sweeney is coming up. Games in progress in the American League. Seattle leads the White Sox 1-0 in the 5th. And the Yankees on top of the Angels 3-0 in the 4th. Ray, the Angels have 2 of their catchers on the DL. Jeff Mathis on the DL last week. And Bobby Wilson just got blasted. A collision at home plate last night with Mark Teixeira.
And it looked like an unnecessary hit by Teixeira. Of course, there were circumstances, I'm sure, that led to that. But still,
Sweeney takes inside 1-0 in a 1-1 tie.
And when the catcher is up the first base line, as he catches the ball, he's going back towards the plate, and all the runner has to do is slide. Instead, he runs him over. Reminiscent of, I was trying to think of the catcher of the Braves. He went to Atlanta a few years back. From the area here, who was just crushed by Aaron Erstad.
Inside for a ball, and the count 2 balls and no strikes.
But it was a similar play. The ball was up the first base line, and when you have a runner to go that far out on the baseline and run over a catcher, and he's blindsided, that's a very, very tough play on the catcher.
It wasn't Chad Kruger, was it?
No.
He's from San Rafael, right? Now the pitch to Sweeney on the way. Left-sided hitter swung on line to left. A solid base hit. Sweeney singles to left. This is the 18th game that Sweeney has played in this year. He's hitting 16 of them. I remember the play you're talking about.
Yeah, I was thinking to catch his name pretty soon.
So Sweeney singles to left. Chavez coming up.
Ryan Sweeney continues with that same stroke, and that pitch 2-0. And you see so many guys would just look fastball, try to swing out of their shoes and hit a home run. But Sweeney, home runs will come, but right now he is just spraying the ball all over the field.
Chad Godin is up in the A's bullpen. Bottom of the 6th inning, a 1-1 tie. Carmona out of the stretch. Chavez takes a strike at the knees, and it's 0-1.
Johnny Estrada.
Yeah, there. Good call, Vinny.
No, I have a computer in front of me. I didn't come into my head.
Well, you shouldn't say that.
See, he was the guy that was dealt to the Braves for Kevin Millwood by Philly. Runner goes, swung on and foul back. So Sweeney was running and Chavez fouled it back. How about Tyson Ross again last night, Ray?
He's found a home run.
Oh, yeah.
And whether they decide to make him a starter in the future, right now, with Zig 2 innings against the Yankees, and then Tyson Ross last night, so that bridge with the starters going 6 to get to the closer if necessary is being taken care of right now.
Hitting room in right center. Sweeney leads at first. A's and Indians tied up at 1 in the bottom of the 6th. A pitch to Chavez outside. The count 1-2.
Had an interesting conversation with Kurt Young about this, and he brought the name Steve Chitrin as a guy that he remembered having a similar role in the early 90s with the A's when he went on to Baltimore.
The delivery to Chavez in the dirt, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Tyson Ross has appeared in 6 games. He's worked 12 innings. He's allowed 7 hits and 3 runs, and he has 11 strikeouts.
He was very pleased yesterday with his ability to get warm. You know, one of the many new things that he's learning in this role in the bullpen is how fast can he get his arm ready to go, as opposed to a guy that was used to long toss and the starter's routine. So he was impressed with that and says the body feels good. It's encouraging.
We were asking Billy Beane the other day about, and Tyson Ross has very little experience, just 1 full year in the minor leagues, whether it was easier for a pitcher or a position player to break into the big leagues with very little experience. Leading at first base is Sweeney, and the pitch to Chavez is a bouncy ball to second, double play ball. Threads Atlantic, flips to short, relay high by Cabrera, safe off the bag is Marte. The Indians blew a chance for a double play. It was pretty tailor-made, but the throw by the shortstop Cabrera was high, and Marte couldn't come down on the bag. And so Chavez safe at first. 2 out. Gross coming up in a 1-1 tie. And what Billy said, he said the only time that would be easier for a pitcher would be if that pitcher goes to the bullpen, especially someone with the kind of stuff of Tyson Ross. Because out of the pen, just let it fly.
Yeah, and as a hitter, you come up like that quickly, and boy, you struggle. You can get very, very quickly. Meanwhile, Ryan Sweeney went to second base standing up. Cabrera tried to throw over him, and that's the reason he had the high throw to first.
So Gabe Gross stands in. It's a ground ball to second. Gruds Atlantic fields this and throws to first. So the pitcher's in command today. After 6 complete, it's still a 1-1 tie.
Now pitching for the Athletics, number 57, Chad Godin.
A 1-1 tie after 6 innings. We go to the 7th. New pitcher for the A's, and here's Vince.
Chad Godin summoned from the bullpen, the 6th appearance this season for the Louisiana native. He's 0-1, a 6.75 ERA. 5 1/3, 6 hits, 4 runs. He's walked 2, struck out 10. Surrendered a home run to Ty Wigington in his last game for the Athletics, and that was on Sunday. That 8-3 loss against the Birds of Baltimore. But more importantly, Brett Anderson, after only 80 pitches, on 1 run on 3 hits over 6 innings, is lifted from this game. He walked 1 and struck out 5, and it just certainly raises your eyebrow, wondering if the bunt play with Grudzilana, not the butt play, but the swinging bunt, I guess, in the top of the 6th inning, maybe that torqued or twisted his body. We just don't know, but it just seems unusual that he would come out of this game at this juncture. Here comes Hafner. He stands in to start things off against Godin. He takes the hands over the cap. The right-hander's pitch darts down and in, ball 1. Travis is 0 for 2 today. Hit a fly ball to right center that was run down deep in the alley by Ryan Sweeney his last time up. 0 for 3 in the series, a couple of walks. Peralta and Marte to follow in this 1-1 game. Here comes the 1-0. Down and in, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Godin joining the ball club late after going to spring training with the Yankees and in a bid to win their 5th spot in the rotation, which eventually was won by Philip Hughes, who nearly no-hit the A's here on this homestand. Here comes the 2-0. Fastball strike to the outside corner, let go by the Yankees and signed by the A's. Left-hander Craig Breslow listening in the Oakland bullpen. The A's got their run in the 3rd inning, and the Indians got theirs in the 6th. Bouncing ball on the left side. Right there is Rosales, third baseman, playing it short. The A's didn't quite have the overshift on, but certainly heavily weighted on the pull side, and there's 1 out.
Except Breslow, Kilby was up first, sat down, and then I looked
Now
up.
batting,
You're right, Breslow is throwing. So
I didn't look quick enough to see Kilby getting up.
Well, maybe they said get the lefty up, and Kilby got up first, and he sat down.
Brad with a strong 9th inning in last night's game with a couple of strikeouts, going back to the big leagues. Now Johnny Peralta bats, takes a slider outside, ball 1. Peralta has gone down on strikes, back in the 2nd, bounced to short in the 5th. 3 hits for the Indians and 5 for the Athletics in this 1-1 game. Fastball, a swing and a miss. He was behind it. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Indians off to a 7-9 start. They do have some batters in their lineup that have had success in the past, including Peralta. Hafner in that category. Grady Sizemore as well. Here's the 1-1. Swung on, stroke toward the second baseman, down to a knee, catching the soft liner is Patterson for the 2nd out. But as a club, collectively batting just .220 coming into the game, and they've been shut out in 2 of their last 3 games, including last night, and scratched out a run
now batting
this afternoon.
25, Andy Marte.
Here's Andy Marte, has walked and hit a fly ball to right. A's trying to win their 3rd game in a row, guarantee a winning homestand. They're 5-3 on this homestand. Chad Wines, the right-hander, comes to the plate. The fastball is over for strike 1. Again, a very serviceable pitcher for many years. Usually with Toronto and Tampa Bay, then comes to the A's. And they went on to the Cubs and the Padres and the Yankees. 1 strike pitch fouled back, and it's 0-2. He's got some pretty special hardware now that he can proudly wear after the Yankees gave him his World Series ring in the 2009 campaign. A slider, a wave, and a miss. 1-2-3 as Godin has a very clean inning against the Indians. On the bottom of the 7th, the A's won and the Indians won.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Indians would like to Hitting off the bottom of the seventh inning for the Athletics. The catcher, number 50, Jay Fox.
Oakland 1 and Cleveland 1 on to the bottom of the seventh inning. Fausto Carmona still standing out there for the Indians, trying to raise his record to 3-0. He faces Jake Fox, Adam Rosales, and Eric Patterson. Jake is 0 for 2, a ground ball to short and a fly ball to center. Line of the pitch, breaking ball, good one in there for strike one. Jake, the late insertion into today's starting lineup, with a late scratch for Kurt Suzuki because of a hurt left side. Nothing more than that, we're told. A swing and a miss, another breaking ball. And it's 0-2 to Jake. Oftentimes, the man that was not going to be in the starting lineup somehow, some way, finds a way to be a factor before that game is over. 0-2 the count to Fox, the Carmona pitch outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And just looking back when Suzuki and Rivera pitched a Hughes game, he got drilled by Rivera in the left side. But that's 3 days ago. Let's hope though it's nothing serious.
1-2 pitch bounced on the left side of the shortstop. Cabrera charges, throws high to first, but Marte pulls it in, and there's 1 out. Yeah, right now Kurt Suzuki is the A's best offensive player, and as we've talked about, it just seems like he was on the verge of really having a kind of nice stretch offensively. Home runs in 3 of his last 4 games, and the home runs are, I don't want to say an accident, but they are a byproduct of his approach, which is looking up the middle and looking to drive the ball, and they happen to leave the ballpark, so be it. Now Rosales, he has scored the only run for the A's, led off the third with a single. Came home on a base hit by Pennington. He takes ball 1 up and in.
The thing about Suzuki, too, there's no panic. He knows he's going to get his at-bats, and eventually his true form will come out, and basically that's what has happened.
Struck out swinging. Rosales did his last time up. Now Suzuki needs to get votes for the All-Star game. He's not going to win the vote. We know that. No pitch. Strike on the inside corner at the belt. 1 ball and 1 strike. But Suzuki deserves the kind of recognition that would merit him being the likely backup to Joe Mauer, who figures to probably lead the voting for 2010. Breaking ball, strike on the inside corner. And the game is in Southern California. I know Curtis from Hawaii, but he went to school at Cal State Fullerton. It'll be a great feather in his cap if that does come into play. Kirk batting .254, 4 homers, 11 RBIs. The power numbers lead catchers in the league. Breaking ball bites the outside corner. Rosales thought it was down and away. He's gone on strikes. A K for Carmona. That's his 4th of the afternoon in this 1-1 tie. Now Eric Patterson will stand
now
in.
batting,
Vinny,
second baseman.
how do the players vote? Is it the lineup is selected by the fans, and don't the players vote for
the reserves?
Right.
So they have a percentage.
Right.
Their vote carries a certain amount of weight in that decision.
So I would think around the league, he's going to get quite a few votes.
I certainly hope so. Now Patterson stands in, fouls back the first offering for strike 1. Patterson snuck a base hit through the right side his first time up today. Kept the inning alive in the third, which eventually got Rosales to scoring position. And then 1 pitch later, Pennington, with a soft fly ball to center, brought home the only run for the A's to this point. 0-1 pitch. Hit in the air behind third base and foul ground. Peralta over, fighting the sun. He's got some room. He'll squeeze it, and the A's go 1, 2, 3. We're through 7 at the Coliseum. Oakland 1 and Cleveland 1.
7, Matt Laporta.
7 innings in the books, nothing decided. The A's won and the Indians won. On to the 8th. Here's Ken.
And Laporta leads it off for the Tribe. He's a right-handed hitter, and the pitch by Godin on the way is swung on line to center for a base hit. A solid base hit by Laporta. Laporta coming into that at bat was 0 for 2 today, both the at bats against Anderson and 2 strikeouts. So a line drive base hit to center. That'll bring up the veteran Mike Redmond, who's 1 for 2. Anderson 6 innings, 3 hits, a run, he walked 1 and struck out 5. And then Godin worked a 1-2-3 7th. Leadoff single here in the 8th. Grady Sizemore is going to run for Laporta. So Sizemore pitch running
for Cleveland.
A's and Indians tied up at 1 in the 8th inning, and here comes Bob
Number
Garrett. The
24,
A's have
Grady
Craig Breslow
Sizemore
warming up in the bullpen. So the A's skipper coming out. Hope you can join us here tomorrow for the final game of the series and the final game of this homestand. The A's are 5-3 on the stand so far. 105 tomorrow for Gio Gonzalez against Justin Masterson. And that's What's on Tap for the A's, sponsored by Tap Plastics. What's on Tap is sponsored by Tap Plastics. The fantastic plastic place has everything you need for home or business. Tap Plastics customizes plastic to fit your needs. For a store nearest you, visit tapplastics.com. Aaron back to the dugout. Redmond, a right-handed hitter, might be bunting. Sizemore leads at first. Barton holding on the bag. And he's around to bunt and drops it out in front of the plate down to get it bare hand by Godin. Fires to first in time for the out to Barton. 1-3 on the sacrifice. Sizemore goes to second. And that'll bring up Asdrubal Cabrera. Cabrera is 0 for 2 with a sack. So he's a switch hitter. Atlantic on deck is a right-handed hitter. Lefty Breslow still throwing in the bullpen. A's 1, Indians 1. Cabrera at the plate. The pitch by Godin swung on a one-hopper to short, taken by Pennington. Holds the runner and throws to first for the out. First ball swinging. Cabrera's out 6-3, and that'll bring up Atlantic.
All 3 batters have swung at the first pitch and put it in play.
That will help the pitch count.
Now batting.
So Atlantic,
12, Mark.
Been around a long time now. He's 39. Drafted in the 11th round by Montreal back in '91. Out of El Paso, Texas.
Harry Carey's favorite.
Here's the pitch to him by Godin with a runner at second. In a tie game, a sinker inside 1-0. He made the All-Star team in '96 for Montreal. 10 years later in 2006 with Kansas City, he won a Gold Glove.
Mark Ellis should have. One of those years he should have won a Gold Glove.
The pitch is taken low and outside. As good as Ellis has been, for as long as he's been good, Ray, he should win at least 1 Gold Glove, shouldn't he?
Absolutely. But he makes those hard plays look easy, and that's he's just nice and consistent. Maybe he should add a little more flash instead of just being so consistent. No, he definitely deserves at least 1.
So Sizemore leads at second. Atlantic takes inside. I don't think that flash is part of Ellis's personality. 3-0. Well, if he walks Atlantic, Mr. Breslow is going to come into this game. Runner leads at second. First base is open. And Godin kicks and throws. That's taken for a strike, a fastball on the count 3-1.
I'm surprised he wasn't swinging. In a situation like that, you see 3 pitches that aren't close. And then you figure if he's going to throw one down the middle, you're ready to swing.
First base side of the rubber. Leading at second is Sizemore. The outfield slightly toward right. And the pitch by Godin on the way. Swung on line to center. That is going to sink for a base hit. Sizemore around third to score easily. And Atlantic a solid line drive. Base hit to center field. And the Indians have taken a 2-1 lead. So the veteran comes through with a solid single to center. And that'll be it for Chad Godin. So breaking the action. 2 out, 8th inning, runner at first. The Indians leading 2-1. And this pitching change is brought to you by Corona. Kick back and relax with an ice cold Corona and lime today. Back to the Coliseum after this. Runs on 5 hits for the Tribe, a run on 5 hits for the A's. Godin is out, Breslow is on, and the A's lefty's making his 8th appearance of the year. He's 0-1 with a 5.40 ERA. 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 6 strikeouts. Runner at first. Here's the pitch, and it's taken inside 1-0. So Laporta singled, Sizemore ran for him, Redmond sacrificed, Cabrera bounced to short, and Grudz-Zelanek delivered the RBI single. Chu is 1 for 3 as a left-handed hitter. And the pitch by Breslow on the way is swung on, foul back. The A's in the bottom of the inning against Fausto Carmona, Pennington, Davis, and Barton. Remember, the Indians closer, Kerry Wood, is on the DL. Lefty against lefty matchup. Breslow checks to get his sign. Grudz-Zelanek leads at first. Barton holding in the bag. Outfield, hitting room in right center. The kick, the pitch on the way is taken low. And now the count 2-1. Chu was the only player in the American League last year with a .300 average, 20 home runs, and 20 stolen bases. This guy can really play. And the pitch to him is swung on, a cutbacker by Breslow. Ricochets past the second base bag into center for a base hit. And going from first to third is Grudz-Zelanek on a single to center by Shin-Soo Choo. He's 2 for 4 today, and the Indians have runners at first and third and 2 out.
I don't think Breslow can believe he missed it. Right over the pitching mound, put his glove up, and next thing you know, it's past him.
Right at the spine of the diamond, out over the mound, over second, a single to center by Choo. And here's Austin Kearns, who's 1 for 3. It got a piece of his glove. As it hit the glove, then it carried back behind him and over second on into center. So here's Austin Kearns, the right-handed hitter. Indians leading 2-1. And Breslow out of the stretch. The move to first, not in time. And the A's, if you're looking at a possible pinch hitter in the late innings, the A's really right now, Ray, have just one extra player today, and that's Matt Carson. With Kuzman off and Suzuki scratched from the original lineup. Throw to first, not in time. And the A's calling up an extra pitcher yesterday, Brad Kilby, and sending Landon Powell back down to AAA. Jerry Blevins still has some soreness in his lower back. The delivery. Swung on, bounce to the hole again. Left for a base hit. The Indians take a 3-1 lead. Grudz-Zelanek scored from third. Chu goes to second. Austin Kearns is 2 for 4. A ground ball base hit to left. Indians 3, Athletics 1.
Now batting.
And that is 3 consecutive singles by the Tribe. and Hafner is coming up.
He's had a lot of first ball hitting, and that was an off-speed pitch hit by Kearns, who has swung the bat well today.
Might be making a comeback this year. Hafner, a left-handed hitter. He's 0 for 3. And the pitch to Hafner is taken outside a slider, 1-0. So 3 singles in the inning. Single sacrifice, ground out, then the 3 consecutive singles. The book is closed on Godin, inning and 2/3, 2 hits, 2 runs, no walks, and 1 strikeout. 3-1 Tribe. Center field, Davis a step toward right center, left and right straight away. Wide open stance for Hafner. Breslow delivers a check swing strike in the outside corner, and the count's 1-1. Chu at second, Kearns at first. Hafner's fly to center, fly to right, and bounce to third. Cronk. Now the pitch by Breslow on the way, taking low dosage. Did you ever have a Reggie bar, Ray?
Yeah.
I mean, they made a candy bar. We talked about the Cronk bar, which is a great tasting candy bar. You've had a Reggie bar?
Reggie's was kind of like a nuts and cheese candy bar.
Caramel.
I mean, kind of a basic candy bar. Reggie.
The 2-1 of the dirt, blocked by Fox. Now the count 3-1. Reggie was at the ballpark earlier this week with the Yankees in town.
Yeah, this big down to level seating was Reggie and Ricky and Lou Wolf. JT Snow was there.
All the big shots were down there, right? What did Reggie have to say? Now the pitch, here it is to Hafner. Check swing foul, straight back. 3-1 Indians, 2 out, top of the 8th, and the Tribe has runners at first and second.
Reggie keeps himself in shape. He's in great shape. He and Ricky. He said he turned 64 next month or so.
All right, Breslow trying to keep this 3-1 deficit for the A's, working on Hafner. The runners will be going. The 3-2 with 2 out is just low and outside, and Breslow can't believe it. Now the bases are loaded, and the Indians have a chance to break it open. Well, Reggie was a Kansas City A. Here comes Kurt Young out. Edouard Ramirez, the right-hander, is up in the bullpen for the A's. So now the bases are loaded, and Johnny Peralta is coming up.
Arizona State University, of course, drafted this was Sal Bando of Arizona State. Kansas City and moved to Oakland. They're in the white shoes.
One of the retired numbers up on the tarp covering the upper deck of Mount Davis here at the ballpark.
Brand new tarps.
Yeah.
Nice. Rather have people in those seats instead of tarps, but
I was going to say the tarps looking nice is an oxymoron.
What you use to clean stuff, isn't it?
Yes,
Oxymoron?
that's right. Bases loaded. Here's Johnny Peralta. And the pitch to Peralta on the way by Breslow. It's taken low, and it's 1-0. And this game on the verge of getting out of control as far as the A's are concerned. Johnny Peralta hitting 146. Outfield, a big gap in right center. Runners at first, second, and third. 3-1 Indians. And Breslow throws. It swung on a fly ball to center. Playable for Davis. Coming in a couple of steps, angling toward right center, and he makes the catch. But the Indians unlock the game. They score 2. They leave 3. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 3-1 Indians. Bottom of the 8th inning, the A's are down 3-1. Pennington leads it off against Fausto Carmona. The right-hander's thrown 96 pitches so far. Pennington, Davis, and Barton for the green and gold, trying to get something going offensively today. Carmona, and he can be wild, but he hasn't walked a batter today. That's been huge, obviously. And a pitch taken for a strike by Pennington, 0-1. I mean, entering the game, Carmona had worked 20 innings, and he'd walked 12. Here's the delivery. Swung on a fly ball to left center. Sizemore staying in the game. He's in center field. He's there, and he makes the catch. So Sizemore, who pinch ran for Laporta, stays in the game in center field. And Austin Kearns goes from center to left. Pennington flies out. Rajay Davis is coming up. Let's check the numbers so far for Carmona in his 3 starts. In his first start, he went 6 innings. In his second start against the Rangers, he went 8. And he threw 111 pitches. In his last start against the White Sox on the 18th, he went 6 innings. Rafael Perez, a left-hander, up in the bullpen for the Tribe. Rajay Davis takes it low, and it's 1-0. If you're the Indians and you're in the Central Division, we talked about this, Ray, the past several years. The Central has been kind of the land of opportunity in the American League. But right now, Minnesota, could they go wire to wire? Could the Twins run? Are they clearly the best team in the Central? The pitch to Rajay Davis taken for a strike on the inside corner.
I think the way they have started their season and in their new park, that the only difference, of course, Joe Nathan out all season, which I guess surprisingly for a lot of people that they're off to the start they are. But they're good. And other than that, it is a balanced division.
Minnesota's playing Kansas City later tonight. The Twins are 12-5. The pitch to Raj is taken high and outside. Now the count to him. John Roush has done a great job in the absence of Nathan as their closer.
Well, also have to consider the Tigers in that division can be tough. We have a quality club.
One out, nobody on. 3-1 Indians. Rajay Davis, a ball hit off the glove, and Carmona carries a second, and no chance for Grubbs Atlantic. And Rajay Davis has an infield single off the glove of the pitcher Carmona. And caromed out toward the second baseman, but with Davis's speed, no chance for Grubbs Atlantic, and the A's have the chance to bring the potential tying run to the plate.
It's probably a ball that Grubbs Atlantic was going to handle. It's not hit that hard. The only question with the speed of Rajay, but they've caught it and thrown quickly enough, but as it turned out, no chance for Grubbs Atlantic.
So here's Barton, who's struck out twice and bounced out. Indians 3, A's 1, bottom of the 8th inning. The outfield is very deep, no doubles. And Barton hits a ground ball into right field for a base hit. Davis will go to third easily, and the A's have runners at the corners and one away. First ball swinging, Barton singles to right. And now the A's really have something going.
Another hitter taking advantage of the hole between first and second, and well, you're right about the outfielders playing as deep as they were and continue.
Let me make a correction. Tony Sipp is the left-hander throwing in the bullpen. And here comes Manny Acta. Yeah, that is Tony Sipp, one of the 3 lefties the Indians have in their bullpen. He's going to be coming in. So Carmona reaching the end of the line here in the 8th inning. The A's have runners at first and third with 1 out. Ryan Sweeney will be coming up against lefty Tony Sipp. And we'll come back to the Coliseum after this. Bullpen for the Indians. He's 26 years of age. And he inherits a first and third situation for the A's, and Sweeney's coming up. So after Pennington flied out, Davis singled and Barton singled. Exit Carmona. Entered Tony Sipp. He's out of Clemson. Sipp this year is making his 8th appearance. He's worked 5 innings. He's allowed 4 hits and 3 runs. He's walked 4 and struck out 7. Infield double play depth. The A's are down 3-1 in the 8th. And Ryan Sweeney lefty against lefty. Sipp comes set at the belt. And the pitch to Sweeney is swung and bounced to second. Double play ball. The flip to Cabrera on to first, and Sipp throws 1 pitch. And Ryan Sweeney bounces into a 4-6-3 tailor-made double play. And after 8, 3-1 Cleveland. Top of the 9th inning at the Coliseum. The right-hander Edouard Ramirez warming up for the A's. The A's trailing 3-1. The rally diffused in a hurry by the left-hander Tony Sipp. 1 pitch, and Sweeney bounces into a 4-6-3 double play. Tomorrow at 1:05, Gio Gonzalez goes for the A's against Justin Masterson. And the A's on the road to St. Petersburg and Toronto. Edouard Ramirez, the former Yankee, 1-0 with a 1.93 ERA in 5 games. Andy Marte leads it off for the Tribe. The pitch by Ramirez, and taken low and outside, ball 1. Gio said that his girlfriend, who lives in San Diego, is doing great, recuperating after the car accident. So here's Ramirez, third base side of the rubber. Fox sets up outside, and the delivery. Swing on and foul back. In the National League, the Dodgers, with a run in the top of the 13th inning, defeated the Nationals 4-3. A single by Russell Martin scoring Rafael for a call. Monasterios, his first major league win. 4 hours and 20 minutes. Here's the pitch inside back of the screen. Casey Blake, the former Indian, hit 2 home runs for the Dodgers.
Well, with them playing an afternoon game, that's got maybe a network game.
No, it was not actually.
What was it?
Because that was before the window.
Okay.
At the window, it's 4 o'clock Eastern. A fly ball foul left side by Andy Marte.
The Nationals might be feeling pretty good about themselves.
Getting on the network.
They play the Dodgers, that's probably poor for the Dodgers, but the Nationals.
But that'll happen when they call up Strasburg. So Marte, a right-handed hitter, 3-1 Tribe. The pitch by Edouard Ramirez off speed just inside. The Mets beat Atlanta 3-1 today. K-Rod got his 3rd save. The Padres have won 8 straight, shutting out Cincinnati 5-0. Home runs by Adrian Gonzalez, number 5. Will Venable, number 4. Now the delivery, swung on and foul back. The first of 2 in Denver, and the Marlins lead the Rockies 3-0 in the 4th. Ugla and Carroll home runs. The Pirates are at the Astros. Do you know who's pitching for the Pirates tonight?
Bobby Crosby.
He might. The former Mariner and refugee of independent baseball, Chris Jakubaskis. And there's ball 4 to Andy Marte. And that'll bring up Sizemore, who pinch ran for Laporta. Laporta got the Indians rally going in the 8th inning with a single.
Now batting.
The Cubs are at Milwaukee. Lilly against Davis. Big Z is in the bullpen, Ray.
$17 million setup guy. Wow. That's unbelievable. Temporary?
I don't know.
We'll see.
This is Ted Lilly's first start, first of the year, after Ted began the year on the DL. Sizemore left-handed hitter and takes high in the count 1-0, 3-1 Indians.
What Mr. Ricketts, the new owner of the Cubs, said about that move to sign the guy to that kind of a contract and make room for Ted Lilly, so we're going to put him in the bullpen.
Fox sets up outside. The pitch by Ramirez, a changeup strike in the outside corner. Anderson left the game with tightness in his left elbow. Man, Ray, it's only the 24th of April. What's going on? Here is Ramirez with a pitch taken inside, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike.
This is the 4th time through his rotation. Gio will be the final guy in the rotation. All that's up to by the time Anderson is ready to pitch next week, he is okay.
Outfield a gap in right center. A move to first, not in time.
To me, that's a plus of a team that you can have a rotation and have them continue to pitch every 5th day and not have to start having 8 to 10 starters starting to mix in because of injuries.
It's down 3-1. Here's the pitch to Sizemore. It's taken inside. Of course, the depth in the system illustrated by the fact that Vin Mazzaro threw 6 innings of shutout baseball last night for Sacramento up in AAA. Trevor Cahill is starting the Rivercats ball game later today. Fox sets up outside. Now the delivery is low, and that's a walk. And so back-to-back walks here in the 9th inning to Marte and Sizemore, and Mike Redmond's coming up. His 3-1 try. In the American League, the Mariners and White Sox are tied up at 2-2 in the 8th inning. Here comes Kurt Young. Doug Fister against Freddie Garcia. Home run by Franklin Gutierrez. The Yankees and Angels, 7-1 Yankees in the 7th inning behind Andy Pettitte. Just underway in Tampa Bay. Toronto failed to score in the top of the 1st at the Rays. Ricky Romero against Jeff Neiman. And Baltimore's at Boston. Minnesota's at Kansas City. Detroit at Texas. Don Frell pitching that game for the Tigers against Scott Feldman. Indians 3, A's 1. Kurt Young back to the dugout. Brad Kilby gets up in the A's bullpen. Chris Perez, the former Cardinal, is the closer for the Indians in the absence of Kerry Wood. Chris Perez up in their bullpen. Now the A's thinking bunt, playing in on the corners. And here's the pitch, and Redmond pulls the bat back and takes a ball, 1-0. And right now Edouard Ramirez is all over the place. Outfield a big gap in left center. Shallow in right. Sweeney shaded toward the line. Shallow in center. Davis shaded toward right center. Runners at first and second. The pitch is a base hit to left field. Here's Marte to third. Up with the ball. Gross. They're going to wave him. They got a shot. The throw to the plate is offline though. Marte scores. The ball gets away. It's backed up by Ramirez. Stopping at second is Sizemore. A base hit to left by Redmond. And the Indians lead 4-1. So Mike Redmond, a base hit to left. I think Gross coming up throwing with an accurate throw. They might have had a shot, but the throw is to the foul territory side, the third base side of the plate, and not even close. And so Marte was able to score. Sizemore is at second, and here's Asdrubal Cabrera. The pitch by Ramirez is bunted toward third of beauty. Down to get it barehand. Ramirez fires to first for the out. Sacrifice works. The runners move up to second and third, and Grud's Atlantic is coming up. But of greater concern, I think, Ray, from an A's perspective, would be to somehow stop the bleeding as it pertains to the injuries right now.
Absolutely. Yes, that coming into the season, you knew the depth was there, but still, the depth can diminish very quickly.
So the pitch to Grudz-Atlantic is swung on a miss, and the count 0-1.
You got to have guys stay healthy, and the pitching, that's fine, but it's just can't afford to have today a bench basically, as you mentioned, one guy, unless Kuzmanov can hit, but he can't run, so Suzuki can run for it.
All right, the infield is in. It's 4-1 Tribe, and the pitch to Grudz-Atlantic in the dirt, blocked by Fox, and the count 1-1 strike. Grudz-Atlantic trying to make a comeback this year. His last year in the big leagues was 08 with Kansas City. And he batted .299 in 86 games that year, a season cut short in early August because of a right knee sprain. Ramirez delivers outside. Now the count 2-1. This ballgame was tied up at 1-1. In fact, the A's were leading 1-0. The Indians tied it up with a solo run, single run in the top of the 6th inning. And then the Tribe got 2 runs in the 8th. 1 so far here in the 9th. And Ramirez delivers, and it's popped up right side into foul territory. Might be playable. Barton toward the dugout, makes the catch, and the runner's after home. Grudz-Atlantic pops out. Chu is coming up. They could bring in Kilby to face him, or they could walk him and leave Ramirez in the game to face Austin Kearns.
Now batting, number 17, Shin-Soo Choo.
They're going to take the intentional walk route here. So this will load the bases, and Kearns will be coming up. So with 2 out in the top of the 9th, the bases will be loaded. The A's in the bottom of the inning. Chavez, Gross, and Fox due up. The Indians have scored an insurance run in this top of the 9th inning, and it's sponsored by Safeco Insurance. Safeco agents can make sure your bases are covered. They'll explain your options and make sure you get the right coverage at the right price. Find a local agent at Safeco.com. 4-1 Cleveland. Bases loaded. Austin Kearns is coming up. He's single, lined out, popped out, and single.
Number 26, Austin Kearns.
He's a right-handed hitter. .345 in the young season. Edouard Ramirez out of the stretch with the bases loaded behind him delivers. Changeup low and inside 1-0. 2 walks began the inning to Marte and Sizemore. Redmond single, Cabrera sacrifice, Grudz-Atlantic popped out. Shin-Soo Choo walked intentionally. 4-1 Cleveland. Ramirez to the plate. Outside in the count 2-0.
This is something that's really plaguing Ramirez. He's had a lot of walks already this year, intentional or not. In less than 10 innings of work, he's had almost as many walks, and given that he comes in the bullpen and the A's are trying to find a spot for him to keep the game manageable, it just kind of slows everything down, loses whatever kind of momentum the A's are trying to build up to carry them to the plate because he's behind so many hitters.
And Kearns has some power. He has 105 lifetime home runs. Center field Davis a step or 2 toward right center, left and right straight up. And with the bases loaded, Fox hits it outside and Kearns hits it foul to the right out of play. You mentioned Kearns came up with the Reds in 02, drafted number 1 by Cincinnati in 98. He was dealt to the Nationals in 06. Sizemore at third, Redmond at second, Chu at first. Ramirez, third base side of the slab, deep in the box. Kearns an even stance. Here's the 2-1 delivery. A line drive, solid single to center. 1 run is in. Around third. Here's Redmond. The ball bobbled by Rajai Davis. 2-run score. Going to third in the play is Chu. Austin Kearns lines a base hit to center, and the Indians have broken it open. It is 6-1 in favor of the Tribe. And it's really fallen apart in this inning for Edouard Ramirez. And that's the last pitch he throws on this Saturday afternoon. Bob Guerin comes to the mound. Brad Kilby has been summoned from the bullpen. 6-1 Tribe, and back to the Coliseum after this. They untied the game with 2 runs in the 8th. They've scored 3 so far here in the 9th. They lead 6-1. And here's Hafner against Kilby, and that pitch taken for a strike, and it's 0-1. Indians have runners at first and third. Hafner batting at 218. And the pitch by Kilby on the way is dribble foul left side in the count, 0-2. This guy used to be a major force in the American League. Travis Hafner. So Kilby checks to get his sign. The Indians runners lead from first and third. Peralta's on deck. And Kilby to the plate on the way. Swung on, bounce to second. His right backhand. Patterson's got it. Underhand flip to second in time for the out. Good play by Eric Patterson, going far to his right to the backhand side. Then the flip underhanded to Pennington on the bag for the force. But the Indians add 3 more. We go to the bottom. Chris Perez comes out of the bullpen for the Indians to work in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the A's have a lot of work to do. 6-1 Indians. Chavez, Gross, and Fox for the green and gold. Chris Perez came up in the Cardinals organization as sandwich pick, 42nd selection overall in the 06 draft. He made his big league debut with the Cardinals in 08. 24-year-old right-hander, born in Bradenton, Florida. And Chavez takes outside 1-0. 6-1 Indians. He was dealt by the Cardinals to the Tribe last year in the deal that sent Mark DeRosa to St. Louis on June 27th of last year. Chavez takes a ball outside, and it's 2-0. So Chris Perez from the University of Miami, the third pitcher for the Indians this afternoon, delivers, and Chavez takes inside. Now the count 3-0. Would you think that Faustar Carmona would be a decent call, Ray, as the AM/PM good stuff player of the game?
I'd say a very good call considering what he did. Jelanic, Kearns, Austin Kearns, a good day. Both of those guys.
Yeah. Chavez takes the ball, 4-pitch walk.
Well, let's hold off. Maybe an A's player is going to get a game-winning hit. Let's hope the 3 runs the Indians scored this half inning come back to 1 game.
Well, somebody might hit a 5-run homer.
Well, start with a 3 and then add another 3.
So here's Gabe Gross, and Redmond goes to the mound. Our AM/PM good stuff player of the game is brought to you by AM/PM. Have it all and then some. At AM/PM, you can never have too much good stuff. Gabe Gross is 1 for 3. Chavez at first, nobody out, bottom of the 9th, 6-1 Tribe. Gross batting .280. Perez out of the stretch. The pitch to Chavez in the dirt, or to Gross in the dirt, back to the screen, and Chavez goes to second base on the wild pitch. Remember, the A's were down 3-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning, and that's when Carmona left the game. When the A's had runners at first and third, and Tony Sipp came out of the bullpen, the left-hander, and he threw one pitch to Ryan Sweeney, and Sweeney bounced into a 4-6-3 double play. So Carmona goes 7 1/3. He allows 7 hits, 1 run, no walks, and he struck out 4.
You look at that half inning, and then back in the third when the A's did score their only run, first and second, nobody out after 3 consecutive hits, but nothing out of that inning.
Well, the A's are offensively challenged, and they've got to take advantage of all those opportunities. Couldn't get a bunt down in the 3rd inning. Now the pitch to Gross taken inside, and the count 2-0 to Gabe. Why not take a strike?
Well, you have to. 6 pitches that he has not thrown anything close, including a wild pitch.
Joe Smith, the right-hander in the bullpen for Cleveland. The 2-0 delivery, that's a strike, a fastball, and the count 2-1. Jake Fox is on deck. 8th inning, the Yankees lead the Angels 7-1. The Angels won last night. Game-winning home run by Kendry Morales. And the Mariners have taken a 4-2 lead over the White Sox in the 9th inning in Chicago. Here at 6-1 Cleveland. Chavez at second, and the 2-1 pitch to Gross is hit foul left side out of play. Toronto and Tampa Bay, no score in the 2nd. Dodgers beat the Nationals 4-3. The Padres shut out Cincinnati 5-0. The Mets beat the Braves 3-1. In the first of 2, the Marlins lead Colorado 3-1 in the 5th inning. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Gabe Gross. Left-handed hitter, an even stance, deep in the box, and Perez delivers, and Gross hits a pop-up. Short left center field. Grady Sizemore is coming on. The center fielder calling for it, and he makes the play. So 1 out. Gross flies out, and that'll bring up Jake Fox. Tomorrow's Little League Day out here, isn't it?
Now batting, catcher.
Yes, it is.
Number 50.
Little League and Softball Day tomorrow. There'll be a pregame parade on the field. The A's will take on the Indians at 1:05. Here's the pitch to Fox inside. They just made an announcement on the in-house PA.
It's bad news now. The good news from earlier is turning to bad news later.
That means that the elevator is no longer operational.
Won't work either.
Here's the pitch to Fox, a strike on the inside corner.
But it was working out.
It worked for 2 innings. I figured that was a bonus today.
Yeah, but how many people were on it for 2 innings?
Nobody.
To break down again.
Here's the pitch to Fox. I bet you that while it wasn't working, somebody was trying to bring some dibs or some kind of sweet kind of dessert up to the booth today.
You know, Walona said there were some delivered, but I said, no, the elevator's broken, just save them. Put them in the freezer.
6-1 Indians, 9th inning. Fox, the right-handed hitter. Chavez leads at second. And the pitch to Fox is a bouncy ball left side, charge at third. The throw by Peralta across the diamond, and Fox is out 5-3. And that'll bring up Adam Rosales, and the A's are down to their final out. Looks like a rubber game tomorrow.
By the time the press gets downstairs, everybody
Now
will be
batting,
gone.
third baseman, number 7, Adam
And after a
Rosales.
defeat, likely defeat, Bob Guerin wouldn't mind that a bit. Gio Gonzalez against Justin Masterson tomorrow at 1:05, and then at 4:10 Pacific time on Tuesday, Ben Sheets and Wade Davis, the A's against Tampa Bay. Here's Rosales taking a strike at the knees, 0-1.
Dave Kearns has had today. Pretty good chance with lefty again tomorrow for the Athletics. Gio Gonzalez, he'll be back in the lineup. But Kearns has had an outstanding day today.
Yes, he has. Here's the pitch to Rosales, a breaking ball in the dirt, and the count 1-1. Time is called. Of course, the Indians were so close to making it to the World Series, in 07, just 3 years ago, but CC Sabathia gone, Victor Martinez gone. First base side of the rubber. Chris Perez, here's the high set. The right-hander deals, and Rosales takes outside. Now the count 2-1. Everybody's wondering when they will call up their latest phenom, the catcher Carlos Santana, who's in AAA right now. He was the AA Player of the Year last year. The 2-1 on the way to Rosales, swung on foul back, and the A's are down to their final strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, bottom of the ninth. Chavez at second. Indians leading 6-1. The Tribe looking to improve its record to 8-9. The A's would fall to 11-8. The Indians were never at 500 last year. The stretch, the pitch to Rosales, swung on a fly ball to left, going back on it, turning around his Kearns at the track, and he makes the catch. And this ball game is over. So the Indians have evened the series. The A's lose this one today by the final of 6-1. And back with the totals after this.